I try. So thanks for the opportunity to speak here. My first HiveFest. I tried to come several times, but as a scientist, I'm traveling the world, and I was never in the right continent at the right moment. But this time, it worked. So I was still in Paris, and I decided to come to discuss a little bit what I do here on chain, how I see Hive as a means for scientific dissemination and scientific activities. So this is what I will talk about. I'll start discussing a little bit about me, first because I think it's very important to introduce ourselves when we give a talk. And then you will see that it's highly connected to what I do on chain and what I plan to do on the chain for the next few years. And there are two projects I will discuss. One is quite old, it's STEMsocial. It's around since 2016. Another one is a crazy thing I started 6 months ago, and amazingly it worked, and it's still working, which is about citizen science activities online. So I will define all of this later for those who don't know what this is. So let's start by discussing a little bit about me. So that's me, at least before the summer. The temperature was a little bit high, the beard disappeared, but it's still me. And I'm a professor at Sorbonne University in Paris. And I work in scientific research in particle physics, in cosmology, and I also teach. So those are three pictures related to my work. You can see the master equation governing our universe, some particles discovered at CERN, and some dark matter on the last figure. So to discuss a little bit more what I do every day, you have a few bullet points there. So my research is about theoretical particle physics, which means running a lot of things on the computer. I'm developing software for high-energy physics, like if you know the collider at CERN. Actually, you can buy a computer at the shop next door and run simulation for that. The code are so efficient that anyone can run them on any computer. My 6-year-old son at that time, he managed to produce some Higgs bosons, and it's not a joke. So the codes are very easy to deal with. And then I do research for those colliders, and particle physics and cosmology are linked. So I also study cosmology, dark matter, this kind of stuff, trying to understand really how the universe functions. So now let's move closer to Hive. So I also teach physics and math, more or less, and I do a lot of outreach. And by outreach, I mean science cafes or big events where I discuss with high school kids or general audience. And at some point, I decided to use Hive as a medium for outreach. And this is how I came to the chain. So the story came from 2016. June, July, more or less. I wanted to have a blog. I had no experiences blogging. I just wanted to have a blog and targeting the general public, discussing about what I do, why it's exciting, why I like it, this kind of stuff. I didn't know what cryptos were, but I've heard the word, and I wanted to learn more. And then my family was on what was called Steam back in the days. And by my family, I had like 10 family members on chain. Today, I'm the only one left. So they poked me and say, well, maybe you should give it a try. I gave it a try. My first intro post dates from August 1st, 2016. Maybe 800 words, no images, don't do that. Well, I had no experience in blogging. It was a shitty post. I didn't know what to do. I tried, and I had a few interactions, some bots. We were in 2016, but it was, I didn't give up. And fast forward, 6 years later, that's my post of last week. I think I built my reputation here. I like long posts with images this time. I discussed my research, some important things for my field of research. I've never stopped writing. I have 300 posts. I'm trying to have one per week, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. And I have a lot of interactions. If you're posting in science, technology, or whatever, you may get a comment from me. I'm a big consumer of content. I like doing that. I have 3 hours of train every day to go to work. That helps. And by just interacting with those people, this is where the STEMsocial project came out. It was called STEM back in the days. I think that's one of the oldest community on chain. We were founded in September 16, and we are still there. And by just browsing the science tag on those days, I met few professionals there, a lot of enthusiasts, and we started to have fun of the good old Steam chat. We had our own channel, we had a lot of fun, and we decided, okay, let's try to have a real community there supporting scientists and maybe, just forming a nice community and starting to create those posts. So we started with English, then Spanish came. French was always there. I'm writing in French sometimes, but it's very small, like 2-3 posts per month. And at some point, we also have German, Italian, and Chinese, but you know, bull market, bear markets, people evaporate, and so those communities evaporated too. But we will revive them if needed. The team today is 6 people. One of the original founders is still there with me, it's Mops. And then we have Enyol and General Scheid taking care of the English curation. And I'm Physical and Carlos Sepp taking care of the Spanish curation. As I said, we have some activities in French, but that's subleading. And we need a damn app. We had an app back in the days, but I had to maintain it, and it was too much work for me. So the app died. Now it's dead, completely dead, and I would like to resurrect it. I will tell you why in a minute. So help is needed. So if you have a dev, if you are a dev, if you are convinced by the project, just approach me. And also we have a few curation tools, as any curation project, I guess. But that was 2016. It was a community. 2018, we redesigned the project completely. And the reason was that we wanted to use Hive as means for scientific dissemination. And you can ask for yourself why. There are many websites online dealing with science news. So what are those websites doing? Well, they're targeting groundbreaking topics, going to MIT, to CERN, to those big institutes. All the crazy stuff that are barely scientific, but are crazy, so they will make the buzz. In the middle, you have 98% of science. And no one never talk about those. And the idea was, okay, let's try to have a platform where all those scientists in the middle can just blog by themselves, explain by themselves what they are doing, why it's cool, and to interact with a great community. And we decided to move that way. That required the app, as I said. If I go to CERN, to the press office, and I want to tell them, please, use Hive, I cannot show the science tag now. We need to have a way to display that a little bit better. And okay, I have tons of ideas. The best, if you're interested to help to develop the app, is to reach me out, and we can chat. We really need this developer. And then when the app will be ready, we will just go to all those research centers trying to show, look, we exist, advertise what we do towards your scientists. Maybe they will dedicate a small fraction of their time. I feel it's one of my mission to communicate about what I'm doing. I'm using public money somehow. That's what pays me. So I think it's important to tell everybody what I do, even if sometimes I'm too technical. This happens. But yeah, and also STEMsocial is social. So we organized 2 meetups in 2018, and we organized meetups in crazy places. So what you can see there, the image on the left, that's the CMS detector inside the LHC, 150 meters on the ground. You can see some human beings just there. So you can see the size of the thing. And that's a bunch of hivers, called Stemians back in the day, in an elevator going down to that thing. So they saw it in front. Try to do that alone at CERN, they will not let you. I made 2 phone calls. I have friends there. I used to work there. So yeah, we did it. We also organized another meetup at Virgo, where they observed gravitational waves in Italy, again in 2018, a great year. And then nothing anymore. But I'm considering maybe a new meetup in 2023, next year. CERN might be a good place. I can organize that in 2 phone calls. I know guides. I promised my son to go there too. He had a spot. At 6 p.m. after the hours, one guide would go down with him. However, it was in 2020. Something else decided we should stay at home for a while. So the visit is cancelled. And if I go with my son, one guide can take 12 people. We are 2, so 10 free spots. So why not? So that's one of my plans. So that's STEMsocial. And now I want to discuss during the rest of the time. I think I still have 5 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't see Roland, so I will just ignore and continue. And discuss about citizen science activities on Hive. So what is it, citizen science? It's basically allowing non-scientific actors, I guess 95% of you there, to participate to scientific research. I had a project a few years ago, it's still there, to study neutrino mass models at colliders. So neutrino is the lightest of all known particles. We don't know how it has mass, but it has mass. And so we have models. And those models need to be tested to check which one is correct, which one is wrong. And a big class of those models give a signature, which is this diagram there. You don't need to know what it is. The interesting guy is the red one, the N, the capital N. That's a new particle, and we want to see how to find it. And so I decided, okay, I did a first study in 2021. That's a reference. The paper is open access. All my publications are open access. You can get them. That's particle physics. We are completely open. That's the only thing of science. I mean, CERN is paying so that everyone can have access to everything. And we did a first study with that signature, but there are more to do. And I decided to do it here on Hive with people from our community, or anyone actually. And I started to propose the episode to install software of particle physics or particle physicists to run them to make simulations. And so it's basically one episode every 2-3 weeks. We had 6 episodes so far, 6-7 participants at the beginning. Now it's more 3-4. And yeah, but is it a success? And I think one picture is worth 1,000 words. So left, my publication, this one there. Right, what these Hivians, traveling mercies, did. And you have to compare the purple curve to her dots, and they match. So she managed to reproduce by herself results that are published in a scientific journal. This guy there, Agreste, that's the same signal, but at the LHC Run 3 that started this July, never published anywhere. First time ever this calculation has been done. He made it, and it's correct. It has been cross-checked by other committee members. So I think this works, and I'm super motivated to continue. And if things are continuing like this, okay, for the moment, we are, as I said, there are 2-3 participants, so it's a little bit small, but let's assume the 2-3 participants stay until the end. We may end with a scientific publication. And I think this means I'm out of time, but that's fine. It was my last slide. So yeah, my journey on Hive was about my passion, science. This is what I've done in the train here. I managed to write 70% of a publication that should appear maybe next week, in 2 weeks, which means I will have a blog on it maybe in 3 weeks. I will not tell you what it is, but if you're interested, just ask me. STEMsocial is there. We really want to have an innovative way for STEM professionals and enthusiasts both together to discuss and present their work. And finally, if you are interested in running crazy code, that's a screenshot of what's going on the terminal. Just join our citizen science activities. Each episode is basically from between 1 and 3 hours of time. So it's supposed to be short. And I'm done.
Cool. Any questions for the mouth? Yeah, I didn't recognize you yesterday, sir, man. You really lost the beard. So, but yeah.
The true story, I lost a bet.
So can you tell us more? Can you tell us more, or is it not safe for work?
My 6-year-old boy. Mm-hmm. I bet you will never remove your beard. Really? Yes. Okay. Done. Don't tempt me.
Okay. I bet you will never win the Balls of Steel competition. Oh, I'm not your 6-year-old son, so.
But I think you're right.
Yes?
So, thanks from Science Vienna here, and all your efforts. I mean, it's so much work to do, like the Mint people bringing into blockchain, the STEM people, the STEAM people also including arts. Like, there's so much work to do. So thanks for doing the first steps there. And my question is, because science and academia is not the same, do you feel the tensions when confronting, like, I mean, academics are very conservative people. Do you feel the tensions, like, I mean, I know you come from academia, you're a professor, but generally when you speak with your colleagues, with your peers, are they critical, I mean, not critical, more from skeptical side that they say, oh, what is this? Or are they more open? Or do you feel other tensions that are coming like between academia and science?
Well, I think it's also related to age. In Paris, the people I work with, we are a group of, let's say, 7 tenured people, professors and researchers. And I'm one of the youngest there. I'm in my 40s. So we have a different vision from let's say, this picture of the professor with just 65 years old plus person. Mm-hmm. It's completely different. We are young, let's say, I discovered the internet of the time of Web 1. I had a browser in 95, a modem in 95 with this funny noise. So I was there, I grew up with this, all of the people there. Some of them are telling me I'm losing my time. I don't think I lose my time. First, it's fun. Yeah, wasting. Thanks. Second, I discovered a lot of people. I was for work in South Africa, in Johannesburg. Then I messaged a few people on Hive from that place. Let's get some drink and food. And I met them. Same in Beijing, same in Montreal. So my job brings me everywhere in the world. So I think this is really great. And then it's important to tell the people what we do. I mean, you're paying for me. You're paying me through your tax. Or maybe not you, because you're not living in France. But let's say you're paying for the public service. And I think it's our mission to tell you how the money is spent, what we do with that money. I'm not putting my 2 feet on my desk. I could do it. No one will tell me anything. As soon as the teaching is done, no one cares. But I mean, my job is my hobby, which is also a problem if you have a family, because there's no border. But yeah, and most of the people there, some of them, they just said, I'm wasting my time. Others, they say, yeah, it's good you do it, but I don't have the strength to do it. And then maybe one day some others will start to try. I mean, you need to start somewhere, and I have good hopes that things are changing. I mean, we are, in particle physics at least, there's a lot of questions about, as we were discussing yesterday with the academia, the publishing companies. Particle physics is different. All our publications are open access. All the major journals, they are free. We even have a journal where all the referee reports are open access. The discussion between the referee and the authors, everything is open access, everything is free. And that's the only field, but it's not healthcare, it's not, I mean, we are not inventing vaccines against COVID. There's no big money involved. So we are living a little bit in our bubble, but I think the example is good. And if we show proof of concept that things can work fine, maybe it will spread, maybe. Maybe I'm dreaming, I don't know. But I'm quite positive, in the good sense of the term.
Any other questions?
And if you want me to discuss science, just poke me. I can do that for hours, but I think this guy will kill me if I do that for hours now.
No, okay, you have 4 minutes and 37 seconds.
Okay, I have a question for you. Is the Earth flat or a ball?
Well, check what the ancient Egyptians were doing 2,000 years ago. They managed to calculate the radius of the planet.
But the radius?
Yeah, it says the average radius. And they were very accurate with the means they had at that time. So no, I don't think it's flat. A kind of sphere. A ball, to be precise, because a sphere you don't have the inside.
A ball that's spinning around very fast.
Yes. No, we still have 3 minutes 58 seconds left to discuss this topic, actually.
So you mean a ball that is spinning at 1,000 kilometers per hour?
I don't know the speed by heart, but yes. This is the model that works. We have proof since ancient Egypt. If you decided that you would want to ignore them, it's your choice. I will not convince anyone. All data is there. You can analyze them by yourself. You can also buy a space trip.
You like Elon Musk?
Personally, I don't care. We are not playing in the same league.
He's a fraud.
Elon, you're a fraud.
You know,
You're watching, right? And Steve has a question.
do you know Professor Brian Cox? Can you get him to talk about Hive?
I know the name. He's more on string theory.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that, but I know the name.
Yeah, I mean, he's a celebrity in the UK, so...
I've never met him. I know a lot of John Butterworth that you may have heard about. He's in London, and he's doing a lot of radio shows and things like that. He's a physicist working at CERN on the Atlas experiment. He's a good friend of mine. But I don't know Brian personally.
Okay.
Yet.
Great. All right. Great. Thanks a lot.
You're
for
welcome.